Home ownership has been sold to Black people as the American dream for the longest time, but I'm going to argue that Bitcoin is a better investment over time. I'm going to do that, but before I get into that, welcome to Black to Bitcoin, where I talk about the need for Bitcoin in the Black community. I'm Tiffany, and I would appreciate if you like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. Okay, so let's get into this real estate conversation. Since the beginning of time, or at least since our being here in the Americas, we've had a fascination with home ownership, and it's rightfully so. We did all the work on somebody else's land and in other people's houses, so I think for sure it represents to us finally turning the tables and having our own land and real estate. That's totally fair, and I don't think that real estate is not a great investment. I'm going to argue that in the end, Bitcoin is a way better investment. And I just hope that you can keep an open mind about that, because there are several reasons that this is the truth. And I also want to say that this mostly applies to having real estate as an investment. I do think there's nothing wrong with owning your own home that you're actually living in, but this is pretty much more directed towards people who believe that having extra land or extra real estate is the way to go. So I'm going to argue mostly against that. So let's go ahead and get into it. I have my points here, and I'm going to go for it. Okay, the first is scarcity. Bitcoin is very scarce. There's only 21 million, and that will be the only amount over time, so there's no way to duplicate it. And obviously, real estate is the opposite. You know that they can build whatever they want whenever they want. Land does not duplicate. There's only so much land, but there is no stopping them building more houses, condos, apartments, and all of that. So scarcity is the first reason. 2 is liquidity and ease of selling. Bitcoin you can sell immediately, or you can give away immediately. If you need to transfer your Bitcoin to somebody else, you can do it right away. As opposed to a house, it is there, it takes months, years, maybe, well, not probably months or years, to sell it. So you don't have that instant ability to get the money. All right. Portability. Bitcoin, you can move it anywhere at any time. Real estate is in one location. Obviously, you can't uproot your house. You have to, wait for it to sell, or just basically wait for it to sell in order to get the funds for it. So it's not even just the fact that it's easier to sell, but it's also just not portable. You can't move it. Low maintenance. I think this is one of the biggest ones. I've talked to so many people who own houses, and most of them will tell you that having a house is a pain in the ass. And we're just talking about people who are living in their own home for their own use. Just so many things, repairs, there's always everything else, taxes, just a lot of work that's put into it. And that is just on the side of having the home, but then people who invest in it, they have to worry about, tenants, hoping that they pay on time, just all these other things that come along with the house. Bitcoin is just there. It's there, you leave it there, it accumulates, and that's it. No work, just an easy asset to have. Next is accessibility and barrier to entry. Houses are expensive, and houses can't be bought in small amounts. You have to have 20% down in most cases to get a house. Bitcoin, you can decide to put $1 in today and $1,000 in next week. You can do whatever you like, and it's the one asset that is possible the one asset that you can do this for. And housing is completely the opposite. You do have to have a lot of money to get started with it. Next is ownership. Now this is one that probably go over a lot of people's heads, but you don't own the house anyways. Bitcoin, you own 100%. It's your Bitcoin. Unless somebody has your keys, nobody else has the ability to do anything to your Bitcoin. A house is completely the opposite. People think they own their house, but in the end, if you decide to stop paying that mortgage, they will take that house from you. So when you really think about it, it's their house until you pay it off. So that's that. And then also the taxes and other things like that. So definitely the ownership thing is a question in itself. And the last thing, which should be the thing that convinces you all on its own, is the actual accumulation of wealth. I'm going to just tell you what the numbers are for appreciation of Bitcoin versus real estate in just the last 5 years, from 2020 to 2025. Real estate has appreciated by 45%, which is absolutely great, right? Great, wonderful. Bitcoin, can you guess? I'm going to take a second just to let you guess in your head first. Okay, Bitcoin, 600 to 1200%, depending on the fluctuation of 2020. 45% versus 600%. This is just from 2020 to 2025. Now, if you go back for a 10-year period, you're talking about like, I forgot, I think it's like 40,000% or just something really crazy. Don't quote me on that because I looked at the number and I don't 100% remember, but I know that it was something crazy. So just know that in the end, if you will hold it, okay, that's the difference. You have to hold it. You don't want to sell it. If you can hold on to the Bitcoin, you are very likely to come out more on top. Okay? So those are my reasons. I'm going to just do a quick recap per usual so that you can have them all in your head at one time. The first is scarcity. Bitcoin, only 21 million. Real estate can build forever. Liquidity and ease of selling. You can sell Bitcoin at the drop of a dime. Real estate takes months or years. Portability. Bitcoin is right here, right now. A house, you can't move it. It's there, and you have to figure out how to get it out of your hands and get the money without that. Low maintenance. Nothing has to be done. Bitcoin just sits there. It accumulates wealth. Of course, houses come with a lot of work, a lot of repairs, tenants, things like that. Accessibility and barrier to entry. Houses take a down payment. Bitcoin does not. You can decide to do $1 if you wanted to today. Ownership. You don't really own the home until you have paid it off, the mortgage and everything else. And then even after that, you still have property taxes. So you never really own the home. And then the actual upside. Bitcoin has appreciated 600 to 1200% over the last 5 years, and real estate has 45%. So I'm going to leave you with that, but I think that makes a great case that Bitcoin is a wonderful and much superior asset to have. If you really feel like you want to have real estate, fine. Many people still love it. Even people who have Bitcoin love it. But I just wanted to make it clear that Bitcoin does have several advantages. So if you cannot afford real estate, or you just don't want to invest in real estate, really consider starting Bitcoin. You can start very small and just move from there, but you don't have to feel like you're making, and that's the other thing. So real estate, you have to really have some luck too. you have to hope that the neighborhood you move into either stays as wonderful as it is, or if you're hoping that it's like in a shady area or something and you're planning on, making more later because it appreciates, then you have to hope for that. There's no guarantees, but Bitcoin, there are guarantees. So, all right, that is all. Hope you're having a great day. Take care, keep stacking, and I will talk to you later. Bye.